Good morning, Grinders. Hey, good morning. It's the DFS Pregame Show. I'm Jordan Cooper, a.k.a. Blender Ed, a.k.a. Blender HD, who maybe you'll see on top of you in some contests. Not last night. Last night I was traveling back from Nashville, so I didn't even play. So, but I know what's going on. I saw the news. That was a chaos slate at 10 games. Our own Travis Mangone, he actually did well. I say that like I'm surprised that he did well. But no, he came in first in 3 max. He had a big day. I didn't have time this morning to get coffee. No, I could have made coffee. I just was out of milk. So, because me and my wife, we were away for like 4 days. So I didn't go shopping or anything. Grocery shopping, no milk. Can't make coffee. So I got Gatorade. So if you want to get the milk to me so I could put my milk and sugar in my coffee, hit that like button. That like little thumbs up button, little like, subscribe, do whatever. Do whatever you want. Comment, do anything. I see the chat open here. Robert Gall, good morning, Blender. The amazing Keto Boy. I keep missing the big money by 2 players. Well, that's the story of everyone. I can't believe I missed the big tourney by 2. Like that's me every night. Last night, 348 points. I switched myself off of Booker to Love. You would have won. You would have won? I thought the scores were like 400 and change. You would have made up that many points? Okay. Why do I keep second guessing myself? And then don't do it. Don't second guess yourself. Just play whoever you want. What's wrong with that? Projections off last night. Reggie Jackson was projected almost 50% owned. It was only 19% owned in the contest you were in. I think that was primarily due to D'Lo being ruled out late, and then a lot of ownership going to Burks. I would assume so. Like Bruce Brown retained his ownership, as I talked about on yesterday morning's show. Bruce Brown is small forward as well as point guard eligible on DraftKings, which means he fits into more slots, which means more likely you're going to play him in a small forward spot, right? Because Alec Burks is point guard, shooting guard. Reggie Jackson's just point guard. So if anyone's going to see diminished ownership, it's going to be the guys with single positional eligibility. So that's probably what happened. A lot of people had good lineups. Everyone's posting their scores in the chat. I had 7 million points and only came in, doubled my money. Yeah, that's what happens when the chalk hits. I'm sorry. That's when the highest owned players also perform the best. Like everyone has those points. That's what it is. And Travis is here. Blender told you it was no days off. I was making fun of Mangone. He's like, I need to get a 7 a.m. flight on Monday. He's like, I need to get a 7 a.m. flight because I need to be home in time for lock. And I'm like, why can't you just take the day off? And he's like, no days off. Can't take a day off. I don't know why. Can't take a day off. And of course, the day that I told him to take off, he binks a GPP with one lineup. Right? One lineup. I just make one lineup. Who cares? Right? Don't need to do anything. Cash games, GPPs. It's all the same. Just to chalk donkey it up, and he got there. So whatever. He got there. Doesn't matter to me. That doesn't mean you don't take a day off. Okay? You can take days off in DFS. Blender, were you surprised Kevin Love was not as high owned as Ayton or KP? Kevin Love is only power forward eligible. You had to fill your center slot with someone, right? You could have filled it with Porzingis, but I think Ayton was fairly underpriced in a good matchup. I mean, who's under 8K, right? So why not play him? That's why, like, all the center ownership kind of went towards Ayton, Porzingis, and Kevin Love is not PFC anymore. So, like, you can't play them. If you're playing Porzingis, you're probably playing Porzingis, Ayton, and not playing Love. And if you're playing Love with Porzingis, probably Porzingis is in the center slot, and you're not playing Ayton. So I think that's the main reason. We've seen on DraftKings they've condensed the ownership. They've condensed the positional eligibilities. Like, not everyone is not just eligible everywhere, like it seems like it. They've been taking away multi-positional eligibility, so that will affect ownership in some way. Donnie Watson says Mangone taking his sharp side skills to the betting championships as well. Yeah, he got a ticket into that also, into the spring championship on DraftKings, right? You got that. And if you want to win a bunch of money, just like Mangone, you should sign up for the 2020 FanDuel NBA Single Entry Series from RotoGrinders. Okay, That's what they're running all for 7 weeks, right? It's right up here, right up on your screen. So the single entry series is a different types of contests. So you got the $3 contest, the $5, $10. There'll be $100, $25, $50, and you have to just put up a good score over the course of a week, and then like the 6 finalists over the course of the week will compete in like an online final, not a live final, but guaranteed prize pool of $30,000. So I mean, sign up for it. If you're on FanDuel, it's a single entry contest. So if you're playing single entry contest on FanDuel, just throw one more entry in, right? You keep on playing that, and a lot of people, they'll play once in a while. I don't know. You no days off, right? This FanDuel NBA single entry series is sponsored by Travis Mangone. No days off, right? You don't take any days off. Most likely, you end up towards the top of the leaderboard because people take days off and they don't get the points. So there you go. So even Devin in the chat is putting in the link to that. So sign up for that. No days off, right? You can't take any days off, right? God forbid you take a day off. I took a day off. Maybe I would have played most of this chalk anyway. Maybe I shouldn't have taken the day off. And also remember that if we get to 400 likes between this video and Grinders Live tonight at 5:50, we have a 7:30 Eastern lock today. So 5:50 on YouTube. 400 likes, you get Situation Room for free tomorrow. You or if you're not a premium member. So I would give away some premium stuff to the cheapo people on YouTube, right? Does it offend you people that I call you cheapo? I don't know why you're not signing up to RotoGrinders Premium for $40 a month. I mean, I've been using it ever since I started playing DFS. So I'm not just shilling for something that I'm a part of now. That's what I use. It's what I use to win, right? That's how I learned how to play DFS. So do that. Like and subscribe. If you don't want to pay for premium, the least you could do is like and subscribe. So do that at least. Okay, so as I always look at the difference between the high stakes contests and the low stakes contests. The 555, we had the Micro Millions opener, so that was like a $4 150 max, and then we have the and one, the $1 20 max. The reason why I always I try to include now the and one is because it's a $1 20 max. That means like all of the high stakes players are like restricted from playing. Like I can't even play in the and one. So like it's a very distinct, different demographic. A lot of the top 150 max GPP players can't play in it. So I like seeing the disparity between ownership between these contests. So looking at this, I think everyone ate Bruce Brown pretty much. I mean, for the most part, Porzingis, Tatum, Ayton. I mean, they're the highest owned were the highest owned. But I mean, we noticed certain things here with like Karis LeVert. Like a lot of people, if we look at the difference between Spencer Dinwiddie and Karis LeVert, because they both started and they both get an upgrade when Irving's out, right? Because all that usage is gone, and obviously the minutes. So in the lower stakes, I mean, it wasn't that dramatic, but still, you can see in the lower stakes, people tend to sided with Dinwiddie and barely paid attention to LeVert. I mean, he was 10% owned in the and one, but he was 30% owned in the 555. And he's small forward eligible also. So you got one of these guard forward eligible guys that you could just fit in a lot more spots. So I think that the higher stakes guys took more advantage of that than in the lower stakes. That's why if you're watching this video, if you're learning how to play DFS better, which is not just what picks to play, but the strategy and the construction, if you're playing the lower stakes contests that guys like me can't play, take advantage of it more. Right? We need to get Karis LeVert at much lower ownership because people like us are weaker players down there. Take advantage of it more. I mean, we even saw like Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal at 10-1 in the higher stakes. I mean, he was 10% owned. But in the lower stakes, people said, I don't care about 10-1. I'm playing it anyway. 18.82%. Who cares? Who cares that he's 10-1? I mean, he put up 58.5 points. I mean, he did well. Same for like Wanamaker, right? With the guard situation for the Celtics. People in the lower stakes, like I'm gonna go, and typically Wanamaker makes you want to puke, right? That typically, but he actually did well. 35 and a quarter points. Some people played Javonte Green. We see down here, Javonte Green only got 8 points. Actually, the higher stakes players, the high volume players, played more of Javonte Green than the lower stakes players. Okay, we're looking at like what better players do and what like not as good players do. So I look at this and I go, just because Bradley Wanamaker actually did well, maybe it wasn't the greatest of choices. You just got there. You can even see with Sekou Duboya, right? We got that news. I think it was after lock that Markieff Morris was out, and we already had Kennard. The Pistons had multiple guys out, so some of the higher stakes guys, some of the high volume guys took advantage. 22% Duboya. I mean, it's not like he did well. 19.75. But the lower stake players, no one, like barely anyone swapped, did anything like that. Alex G says, I wish the N1 didn't have a terrible payout structure, though. Is it I can't even say it. I don't even know what it is. What's so horrible about it? I don't know. I literally, I can't even see what the payout structure is. Blender forgot to combine the promos, get 9 in a row on sharp side streak, and then you could pay for premium, or you could finish top 10, which seems harder. Okay, well then, great. I love the way that now the YouTube chat is doing the advertising. Okay, do I have to do it anymore? Yes, man, you're in charge of that now. Okay, and anything that I failed to mention that is promoting a RotoGrinders product or service, feel free to just post in the chat. I'm not on sharp side, so I don't know. I know there's a promo going on there, but I'm not. Should I be swiping? I should be. They say it's free money. Maybe I should be swiping and stuff over on sharp side. And Alex G says for the and one, it's 50K entries and first place wins like 1 to 1.5K. It's very flat. Like that's almost a little too flat, right? You don't want to 150 max that then because first place is only like $1,500. I wish they just had that structure for the bigger contests. Kind of weird. They go the opposite way. Like the $1.20 max should be like maybe 3K to first, something like that. 4K, 5K to first, and then scale it down from there. It's the bigger ones. It's when like the 100K to first, and in seventh place, you're getting like a set of steak knives. Like that's what I don't like. Blender, look at the results DB for RG member winnings versus others. Is that normally that large for RG? Well, I mean, not to give away the secret or anything, but like it's normally that. But also that as long as you're signed up to an RG account, like you're a member. So like it doesn't mean you're paying for premium or anything. Right? There are tons of people that sign up for RotoGrinders to have an account on RotoGrinders. Does that mean they're an RG member? I mean, we consider them a member. So yes, if you're an RG member, you're probably making a lot of money in the contests. As long as you're signed up. Because if you sign up, you at least could get like the stuff like the first look. You could get some access to stuff. So I pulled up some people, some good players, some people that won. Chris 26, he was the big winner of the 100K last night. Nico 22, he came in at the top, covered 2 spots towards the top, and then some other people also. Okay, just to show you how multiple strategies work. Like it's not a matter of picking the players. It's a matter of building the lineups. And you can go multiple ways and still get there. So we see here, like across the board, pretty much Bruce Brown was just jamming it, right? He got 27.25 points, which is good for him. I mean, he was 3,800. So that was fine. Probably not. I don't think you don't need him, but he did make value. I mean, basically Brown, Porzingis, Burks was the interesting case because we got Chris 26 goes all in, and then we got Mr. Good Seats who just like barely have it. A lot of the field went underweight. I mean, FJ Bourne had 40% of them, but we saw a lot like I said before about Dinwiddie versus LeVert. Like, look at Dinwiddie here. Like every one of these players kind of went under. I mean, Nico kind of went a little over, but still not overboard. And then we look at Karis LeVert. And it's more likely that everyone is over on Karis LeVert. And FJ Bourne went like heavily over. So I like looking at this because I like looking at the blue ones to see like where were the stands, where was the leverage. So that's why taking a look at like Chris 26, it's like I'm just going to load up on Burks, I'm going to load up on Porzingis and Bruce Brown. Like that was like the core 3. Have some Kevin Love, have a decent amount over the field of Kevin Love, decent amount over the field of De'Aaron Fox, Didn't work out. And then fill in from there. But like Reggie Jackson, like you see amongst these players here that people took stands on Reggie Jackson. Because most probably playing Brown and Jackson together, I mean, on a 10-game slate, I mean, you could do it. They were cheap enough. But I think more people were inclined to play one or the other. So people, I mean, obviously Nico 22 went overweight on Reggie Jackson. FJ Board went overweight on Reggie Jackson. But then we have Royal Pain 21 had 0. Chris 26 at 2%. All these guys are all these players. I don't know if they're guys. All these players, they're good players. They're executing different strategies. We take a look with Burks. Overweight on Burks. Bourne had overweight on this under, and all these guys went under. we take a look at Forsaken. It's like, okay, I'm going to eat the Bruce Brown chalk, but I'm going to go under on the Porzingis chalk. I mean, I'm not going to have any Beal. Like, I'm just going to fade the chalkier players. The Ayton was chalky in the center spot, just under. Not 0, but under. So Porzingis under, Ayton under, Burks under. Probably wasn't a good day for him, right? Because the chalk did well. I mean, all these guys, if you slammed Ayton and Burks and Brown and Porzingis and those guys, Tatum, that's why the cash lines were high. Because the chalkier guys all put up GPP relevant scores. But it doesn't mean it always works out that way. So there are contrarian players like Forsaken who takes like, oh, this guy's going to be popular. I'm going to try something else. I'm going to play some Trae Young, some more Trae Young. I mean, look, FJ Bourne played 44% Trae Young. And I'm going to play down here. John Collins, 28%. Karl Anthony Towns, 26%. Karl Anthony Towns was 7% owned. Played 26% of them. You're down here. Joel Embiid, right? Because if you're going to fade Ayton, you're playing like what centers are you playing? Joel Embiid here. Damian Lee as a direct pivot off of like Alec Burks. So there you go. That makes sense. Harrison Barnes, 18%. 16% Jonas Valanciunas because center leverage. Down here, Javonte Green. So he has a little bit of him. That's a strategy. That's the strategy that he employed. It didn't work. But if the chalk fails, like he has a good shot at winning. Like that's the strategy that he's employed. Looking back in the chat, Blender, can you talk about John Henson? He was popping late with no Zizic and Thompson. Was he a thing? Like, I wasn't paying attention enough. Like, John Henson put up, 18.75 points? Well, two guys, I mean, out of these two, I mean, look, Nico and Mr. Good Seats still had plenty. If you were paying down at center, like, if you're not going to pay up for Ayton, like, what center? Like, let's just go to anyone that's center eligible. Take a look at the field. Like, look at these percentages at just the center position. 48%, 32%. Larry Nance got 18% overall ownership. Drummond. After that, like, it's all single digit. But I mean, they're all expensive. Like these guys are expensive enough. Like even Vucevic took 7%. Aldridge, Jackson. Like there's no one like cheap. Like the first cheap would be John Henson. But you have to hope to get enough points that he becomes GPP relevant, like a Damian Jones or something like that, or Marquise Chris. Not horrible, but I mean, he was over 5K. I think Henson was more in play for contrarian constructions where you're paying up at like shooting guard. You're paying up for multiple studs in other spots that aren't like power forward or center or something like that. There just weren't many options. I mean, there weren't many options, really good options to punt at center. You almost had to pay up. So I think that's the reason, like popping. I don't think it's pie. I mean, he was minimum price and he had a median. He was going to play 21 minutes. That's not a bad score. Henson mainly was popping on RG. Was he played in cash? I saw people last night in the Discord, the premium Discord that you should be a part of if you're a premium member. RotoGrinders.com/premium. $40 a month. You're part. Yeah, everyone talks. And they're talking right now. Everyone's talking about. Okay, what are they talking about? They're talking about. I think they're talking about the the Nuggets wing defenders right now. I don't know. They're talking about wings of some type. I'd probably be talking about hot wings, right? I don't know what the hell's going on. I typically don't even take into account defense into my lineup, so I don't even care. Okay. And Travis is in chat talking about hence. Yeah, the thing about the construction last night is that, like, why did you need a value center? Like, you had Burks, you had Bruce Brown, you had Reggie Jackson. I know he didn't do well, but you still had him. You had Jeff Teague if you want. I mean, he started. He did well, 35.25 points. We see right here with Jeff Teague. Some people went over. Look, Royal Pain 21 pretty much said, I'm going to play Bruce Brown, Porzingis, Tatum, Ayton, and Teague, and Wanamaker and Love, and then just fill out the rest, right? He played a lot of Andre Drummond. I'm assuming these are two center lineups because he has 39% Drummond and 77% Ayton. So we see Royal Pain strategies like really condensed. Like, his player pool was like really small, but still like went under on Dinwiddie, went like no Reggie Jackson, just nothing in 150 lineups. Some people went the other way. They all are right to some extent. They're executing a strategy to gain leverage, to create lineups that have good shots at winning first place given a certain outcome. Okay? Just so happened that the outcome for Mr. Good Seats, Alec Burks put up enough points, so his going under didn't work. But the Reggie Jackson Royal Pal, that worked there. It's deciding on something, right? Some people decide on different things. Some people went, for the most part, Kevin Love was there. We have guys that are like complete, like Kevin Huerter. Like, people didn't own at all. Certain people, and then certain people went way over. It's one or the other. You're not playing 10% of everyone like Dean. Okay? You're making stands, you're making decisions, you're finding leverage, and you're going from there. Who you choose at that point, that's up to you. Right? I don't bemoan the people that played Bradley Beal at 10-1. But if you told me beforehand he would be 17% owned, like, I'd only play Bradley Beal in lineups that I'm playing Warriors in. Right? Like, I don't mind the Alec Burks, Bradley Beal combination, but it also had ownership. So you have to find other ways. Because if you're going to just play all these chalk guys, you could win a smaller field contest like Travis did. Like, if you're playing a 3-max, a single entry, under 1,000 entry type of thing, yeah, you can. You could slam, 5 of the chalky guys, pick someone slightly off the board and win. You can. You can't do that. And I'm talking about these 100K to first, 50,000 entry type of contests. Slamming the chalk and then hoping that combination win. They better score 430 points. You're not going to win otherwise because everyone else is going to have these guys. Maxwell Gubber, at what price point is playing a low-owned guy almost counterintuitive? Example, Saboner last night was 1% owned. Put up a good score, but didn't matter. It depends on how much of the chalk fails. So it's not really a matter of the player. Like, I can't play Sabonis at 9,600. Like, in a vacuum, you're right. In a vacuum, he's overpriced. In a vacuum. But on a slate where, let's say, Porzingis duds and Tatum duds and Ayton duds, like a very low-scoring slate because a lot of the chalk fails, if Sabonis puts up 48 points for 9,600, like, that could be a GPP winner just from the fact that you got raw points that look how much of we got, like, so much of the field sitting there with snowflakes. So playing those guys, so thinking in terms of, that's why you're building lineups for contests and you're not choosing players. In a vacuum, Sabonis at 9,600, low median for that price. Like, the probability of ceiling, getting a 55, 60-point score, probably lower in the context of the other players in the player pool. I agree. But given the outcome where all the chalk fails, who says 55, who says 50 from Sabonis isn't good? So that's why if you're building lineups that are fading heavily chalk players, especially in that range, fading Porzingis, fading Tatum, fading Ayton, fading Burks. If you have a lineup that's fading all of those guys, playing Sabonis is no problem because, I mean, you're betting your lineup wins based on the chalk failing than on your players just hit it, because if Sabonis puts up the same score as some of these, these other guys, it's not going to matter. You might as well play the other guy. So I think that's the main key to realize. Does RG ever do anything for FanDuel in terms for video or similar content? Well, I mean, on Grinders Live, they talk about FanDuel. We talk about the morning grind, everything. It's just that results DB, we only have the information from Draftkings. Because Draftkings, you could download the CSVs. Like you could do it yourself. Like you can do all this yourself. It's publicly available, downloadable CSVs. FanDuel doesn't do that, so it's hard to analyze in results DB, where it's kind of a secret. Can't really get it unless you're in the contest. If you're in the contest, then you still have to click through and scrape and whatever. So I'm sorry that this is more DK oriented, but the concepts still apply to FanDuel. Everything that I talk about when it comes to leverage and building lineups, good lineups that have first place win equity, that applies to FanDuel also. So just because the pricing and the positional eligibility is slightly different on DraftKings, it doesn't mean that the concepts and the strategies to win at FanDuel aren't the same. But yes, but I primarily play on DraftKings. So yes, DraftKings is more comfortable to me. But I mean, but most of I do play on FanDuel also. But results DB is just for DraftKings, so that's why I use this. But if you want to see more FanDuel content, if this isn't good enough, hit that thumbs up button. Maybe more thumbs up matters, right? Because if you hit more thumbs up on this show and on the show later, the 550 Grinders Live, because we have a slightly later lock. Look at the situation, the switch situation room for tomorrow's slate, which is a bigger slate. You'll get it for free, right? That's part of premium, which is like the DFS injury report. I'm going to reload it here. Okay, yeah. You get, it's not like the official NBA injury report. It shows what the status is. It gets updated when, obviously, we get news that stuff gets updated. Shows like the impact rating of the slate, who's, out, doubtful, questionable. And then if you get this if statement, if Capella's out, then this is the situation. And then typically a little blurb of the most major situations to look about, to worry about, right? So if you like this, if you liked it, you get this tomorrow for nothing. For the cheapos, get it for nothing. But today's status, we only have a 4-game slate today, right? 4-game slate. Capella's out. We knew that. Westbrook is likely out with a thumb strain. Jamal Murray may be returning today, and he's been out with an ankle injury. PJ Washington is questionable. Millsap is out. We knew Plumlee, Porter, Hill. Okay, we already know all of that. That was a given. So I'm looking at our initial projections. I'm going to reload. And Maxwell Glover asks if I used the code. Yes. I used to be a web developer. Now I'm not a very good web developer. Most of the languages I know, or I used to know, are not used anymore. Okay. So let's take a look at what's going on today. Okay, let me build my 300 lineups like I normally do. Or when was the last time the projections were updated? These are initial projections. Okay, so they're not going to be all that accurate right now, just right now. Because on a 4-game slate, obviously raw points matter. So I think we have Harden without Westbrook. 12K, I can make the case that I don't think you need to play Harden today. Is that odd to say? That Harden may not be a necessity at 12K. But Westbrook's out and he's put up back-to-back 70-point games. So his median is high. We see right here, if we just go by like RG value, Harden is the top, right? We've Harden, 24 shots, 25 shots, like nearly a triple-double last game. I don't think you're wrong playing Harden. I really don't. I think he's just, I'm not sure in GPPs that to me, that's the leverage point. Because if you take a look here, I think people we may get lower ownership on like Anthony Davis and LeBron James. Because I mean, even if we go by RG's initial projections, which can change, realize these projections change throughout the day. As news comes in, at minutes get adjusted, usage rates, depending on who's on the court, these will get adjusted. So that's why you have to sign up for premium, rotogrinders.com/premium. You get the updated projections, right? Because we even have it up here. When ownership is updated, this is updated last night. So these are literally initial projections with like no manual input. So this could completely change. But looking at this, at the prices that LeBron and Anthony Davis are at, like AD is 9,300, LeBron is 10-1. So I'm not afraid of the Spurs. Harden's at 12K. Like I could see, I mean, I've made 300 lineups, and we see right now that if this switches over, that the popular builds, it seems like based on the projections, the highest median builds are ones that don't have Harden in it. Like I scroll down, I see where's Harden? Where's Harden? Where did Harden go? Is he here? Is he even here? Clemens is there. Oh, okay, there's Harden. 5% of lineups. I made 300. He appeared in 5%. But AD and LeBron appeared in 20 to 96%. Because you can play both of them and still get enough. You can still get enough raw points across the board. Playing the subsidiary Rockets players like Rivers and Tucker and McLemore. I mean, we all know Harden's going to be popular tonight. I mean, I'm not downplaying Harden as like a good play individually tonight. He could put up 90 points. You're right, he can. But as a median play, it's quite possible. I mean, assuming that we don't get any like ridiculous news that comes out through the day, it's quite possible that maybe he's in the construct of a 8-player build may not be optimal. I mean, I'm just going by initial projections. I'm just going what I see here, right? If I didn't do this before the slate, I would go, yeah, you put in Harden and then you build, right? And you don't right. That's the first. My first reaction is 12K Harden. You plug him in and then see what else you could fit around him. But based on this, do you need him? I think that's the question. I think that's the big key for tonight. Whether it be cash games or GPPs, I'm primarily talking about GPPs. Do you need him? Because Harden can put up 70 points, and he still may not be necessary if we have like LeBron and AD putting up a lot of points. So he could hit his median. He could hit 65, 70, and he may not be in the winning lineup. If he puts up 90, it probably is, right? And especially when the ownership will probably be lower. I could totally see with Westbrook out, Capella out, Harden's ownership to be double AD or LeBron against the Spurs. I mean, I don't know what's going to be throughout the course of the day, but it's quite possible maybe you play. I mean, Ben McLemore is what, 3,400. PJ Tucker's 4,400. They've been rolling these really small lineups. I mean, even House, Gordon, you can play some of those guys. Austin Rivers, Westbrook's out. He'll play. I mean, Austin Rivers is 3,600. So maybe it's one of those games where Harden gets 62 points, and which is fine. And some of these outside guys, you would get a Ben McLemore 30-point game, or PJ Tucker 30-point game, or House, or any of those guys. And it's those guys you need, and it's not necessarily Harden, because you got like LeBron. LeBron has 68 points, or AD has something like that. I'm just trying. This is what I do in the morning. This is what I normally do in the morning. I reviewed some stuff. Then I look at the slate as a whole, holistically, and go, what are people likely to do? And then based on the math, what may be slightly less optimal, that may be more profitable. So I look through this, and when I start generating lineups and I see more AD and LeBron and less Harden, like it's telling me it's telling me right now, if I didn't know anything about NBA, why would I be playing Harden? He's too expensive. And I think it's primarily due to lack of value, because I think maybe jamming in LeBron and AD You're just getting all the Lakers production. That's what I'm looking at that car. I mean, hey, I may end up just jamming in Harden anyway. 2 hours from now, these projections change, and maybe you do. Maybe you do play Harden and 2 Rockets with him, and then you find a way to get around that. Maybe. I don't know. I think more people are going to gravitate towards Giannis and a higher total, closer spread. Also, a lot more palatable stack plays from the other team. The Pelicans opposed to the Hornets, Josh Cleveland. That could happen, but I mean, from a point per dollar perspective, I mean, Giannis does rate out as, according to our projections, the lowest out of the bunch, right? Just from RG, from smash percentage, from point per dollar. Like, I take a look here, and it's like Harden, Davis, LeBron, Giannis. So I think people are just going to play Giannis against the Pelicans? Power forward only eligible. I think people. I don't know. I think I think Harden comes in number 1. I think that's easy. I mean, I could just put up my hands and go like Harden will be the more owned one out of all 4 of these players. But yes, people will play Zion. Yes, the run backs. Like, oh, there are more options to play Pelicans. So in GPP, you play Giannis with the Pelicans. That makes sense correlatively. San Antonio seems to have, like, may not get any ownership. You may get some Aldridge, some Dejounte Murray, something like that. But I think it'll be lower owned. That's why I'd be more inclined to that. I mean, when I see, we take a look in this game, like, I'm going to go by smash percentage. And these are, like I said, initial projections. So on the San Antonio side, like, I could play, like, look at here. I could play Aldridge Murray. Then on the LA side, LeBron and Davis. I mean, like Aldridge is 6,200 today. I know I mean, if you take a look at his game log. Oh, he did. Oh, he actually had a good game. 2-3. That was yesterday. Yeah, but the ones before, 21, 24. No, he put up 50 points yesterday. Right? Who knows? Maybe someone sits. It's a back-to-back. I don't know what happens. But I could totally see playing Aldridge, Murray, and I could play LeBron and Davis in the same lineup, and just, who cares about the Rockets? Or you play the cheaper Rocket guys. You play, an Austin Rivers or Macklemore, Tucker, or someone like that, right? You can do that in a lineup. I just don't know what you're going to do with the Bucks outside of Giannis. Like, are you going to be playing Bledsoe, Middleton? Are they worth it, their prices? So the Pelicans, that they have options. Like Pelicans, like Milwaukee's a fast team. This total is high. I mean, the total is 244.5. Okay? 244.5. Milwaukee 126. Pelicans 119. Like, the Pelicans are the underdog in a game, and they still have a higher total than all the other teams on the slate. So yes, I mean, projections are going to lean towards some Pelicans because of that total, more available points. But if people are going to build, if you're telling me, like Josh Cleveland in the chat, if you're telling me that people are more likely to play Giannis with the Pelicans, that almost makes me want to play the Spurs-Lakers combination even more, just for ownership reasons. Like, if Zion's going to be 40% owned, like, why aren't they not playing LaMarcus Aldridge over him for that ownership? I agree that, like, Zion is probably a good play. I get it in a vacuum. But we're trying to build lineups here, people. Lineups that win first place, not lineups that min cash. So looking to see where the leverage is. I mean, if you have any thoughts, go into YouTube chat. This is what the whole purpose of this show is. It's a pregame show. I don't know what's going to happen. Everything changes. Someone's going to be out. Giannis sits. This whole slate changes, right? You tell me Giannis sits, and it's like, okay, well, Bledsoe, Middleton, Lopez, Ilyasov, and then we would now it's a completely different conversation. Unless you want Giannis to sit. Do you want Giannis to sit? Would that make things easier? If you want Giannis to sit, hit the thumbs up button, that little like button. Apparently, the YouTube gods talk to the DFS gods. I think that's what happens, because we have the DFS gods that you pray to. When you're like, someone may be going to lock. I hope he comes back from the locker room. And then you have the YouTube gods who you can never get into contact with because they're like an automated god. And apparently the YouTube automated god likes the thumbs up buttons, and it helps us. So hit the thumbs up. If you get 400 between this show and Grinders Live at 5:50 p.m. tonight, you'll get the Situation Room tomorrow for free. Unless you're already a premium member where you already get it. So there's more to help out the cheapos, right? I'll call you cheap. $40 a month, you'll make that back in a month, and it pay for itself. I don't know why you're not a premium member of the RotoGrinders. RotoGrinders.com/premium. Okay, let's take a look back at the YouTube chat. Hayden S says, I feel like the Roto projected ownership is higher because you guys are more skilled than the casual players. Watch them be really high owned, right about 20%. The spread is 13.5 on Harden. That is. No, I think he'll be higher owned. I mean, we're projecting him right now at 42%. I think people, even the casual players, will just say that Westbrook's out, you play Harden. I mean, that's what I would think, right? It doesn't. I think Harden's a good play. I always throw out my hands. I'm just talking about lineup construction as a whole in GPP. If I fade Harden, what do I do? If I play Harden, what type of lineup do I build that's not chalk? Like that type of thing. Donnie Watson says we've been targeting Portland defense all year, Jokic Lillard team or something like that. Yeah, that would be contrarian. You want to do that? You could definitely do that. I will not be playing Lillard. I'm just gonna at this price, I'm just gonna keep on fading him and losing money. Okay, if he continues to shoot like 60% from the 3-point line, just then God bless him. I mean, like whatever. I'm not doing it. 0% Lillard for me. But hey, but that combination makes sense. You're gonna play Lillard and Jokic, you play them in the same lineup. But geez, 10K and 10-3. Who else are you playing in that lineup? That's gonna be tough. Just play the low-owned Pelicans. Lonzo Ball actually scores more fantasy points with Zion Aldercourt. I mean, who are the low-owned Pelicans? I mean, who? Let me go to the Pelicans. I mean, it's not the front court players. So you play Ball, but if he plays better with Zion on the court, wouldn't you play like Ball and Zion? So you do something like Zion, Ball, Giannis, something. But I mean, are you playing JJ Redick? Are you playing Josh Hart? I mean, who are these guys that you're playing? The low-owned ones? I mean, even Holiday is projected to be, what, 18% on? That's not low. I mean, it's, I guess, relatively low on a 4-game slate. I mean, I don't think you get low-owned Pelicans. I mean, other than, like, the bench guys. Okay. Packers fan says that he likes Giannis, Harden, Whiteside stack on FanDuel because it's FanDuel. You could just play whoever you want, right? You could play Will Chamberlain on FanDuel. You could jam in all the good plays on FanDuel. Okay, Ian Lindquist asked, "What does the model say on Giannis?" I mean, I just looked at that. Well, you knew? Did you? I mean, out of the top players, he currently ranks in the projections that are currently up. 2 hours from now, that could change. So I have no idea. But currently now, I'd rather play AD and LeBron over Giannis. Your Superman is in the chat. Hey, good morning, Blender. Okay, hey. Quick question. How do you know what position spots you want to be different in your lineup for GPPs? And how do you figure out which players will be chalk? Well, I mean, you could just tell by the projections which players will be chalk, right? And the constructions that you can make. That's why I build 300 lineups, right? I don't play 300 lineups. I'm just saying that I build. I go, like, based on these projections, this is what fits in. I know Zion's going to be popular. I know Harden's going to be popular. I know this, Austin Rivers or Macklemore, those guys will be popular just from value perspective. But once you know who's going to be popular, you know what price range of players are going to fit in the other slots. So, like, if you're going to play Harden in a point guard shooting guard spot, and you're going to play Zion in a power forward center slot, and you're also going to play Anthony Davis in a power forward center slot, that means you're paying down at like small forward. So like that lineup is more likely to have Ben McLemore. That lineup is more likely to have Austin Rivers in a shooting guard spot. It's cheaper. Malik Monk, someone like that. in that type of lineup because you've already filled power forward, center, high price guard. You need to find some cheap shooting guard and small forward. That's the construction. So if that's going to be a chalky construction, you want to try to move to a slightly less chalky construction and go, instead of paying up for Harden, I'm going to pay, like paying up at center for Jokic would be a contrary construction because then it forces you to pay down at power forward, right? Then you're playing PJ Tucker, and then you're playing PJ Washington if he's in, playing all the PJs. You're playing CJ McCollum instead of Lillard. You're doing something like that, which is naturally going to be lower owned. Middleton or Devontae Graham, who has the better situation? I would assume Devontae Graham, but I mean it's not like he's been playing well. Based on our projections, I mean I'll just sort by RGB. Based on our projections, Middleton's here. Doesn't look very good as far as ceiling is concerned. And Devontae Graham is up here. So yeah. So based on our projections, Devontae Graham over Chris Middleton. That's what all the numbers are a reflection of all the basketball stats and the I mean, all of the basketball research you do are just in the numbers. It's all in there. They blend it in, right? Shake it up, shake up all the basketball stuff. They shake up and then they give you some numbers. And I just look at the numbers, right? Are people not numbers people? If you like the numbers, hit the thumbs up button, right? If you're a numbers person, because I have no coffee. I can't like bait you in with the coffee stuff anymore because I'm drinking Gatorade because I was out of milk. What do you think about Rondo in his minutes? What do I think? What would I think about it? Rondo. Projected for 22 minutes. There you go. What do I think? I don't think anything. We have a projections team. Andy Beansy, Noto, Tuttle, SBK, Jamino. They do all the projections. They're great. The RG projections are great this year. They're part of Premium. RotoGrinders.com/premium. I trust them. They tell me Rondo's median is 22 minutes. Okay, that's all. I don't have to think about anything. Could Ingram be a good play for GPP? Everyone could be a good play for GPP. Could Ingram? You're not choosing players. You're building lineups. Don't think in terms of, is Ingram a good play? Think in terms of, if I play Ingram, how does the rest of my lineup go? Okay? That's what you should be thinking. In and of itself, it means nothing. Right? Ingram. So if you're going to play Ingram, you're playing a GPP. Okay? Where you're trying to win first place. Right? Come up somewhere towards the top. You're not going to survive min cashing. Who cares? So if you're going to play Brandon Ingram in the lineup, who do you play with him in that lineup? Okay? You're probably going to play him at small forward. Why? It's a more scarce position. So if you're going to play Ingram, maybe you don't play Zion. So you play Ingram. If Ingram's going to get max minutes or something, maybe you do want to play Giannis in that lineup. So now we're going to go here. Well, let me open this up. This is what I mean by building lineups, not choosing players. Okay? So we're going to play Giannis. I'm just going to put together a lineup. Giannis there. Okay? You said you wanted to play Ingram. Okay, so that was your first decision point. You're playing Ingram. We have 52.67 left. Obviously, we're not going to be able to play Harden in this lineup, but if we're not playing Harden, I want to play Austin Rivers. Someone that benefits if Harden doesn't have a ceiling game, right? Because we're not playing Harden in this lineup. So we're going under the assumption for this one specific lineup that it's good enough that if Harden puts up 90 points and you don't have him, this lineup doesn't matter anymore. So now we're going under the assumption that Harden is only going to put up 60 points. So like now we get Rivers. Maybe we get some McLemore. McLemore is shooting guard, small forward eligible. So we play him also. Now we got 61.50 left. If you're not going to play Zion, maybe you play Favors in the center slot. Now we got some salary left. Okay. So we got 2 Pelicans, 1 Milwaukee. We got 2 subsidiary Houston players. Maybe we play Devontae Graham because we need to fill a guard, forward, and utility. So we do that because that correlates with the 2 Houston players. We got 64.50 left. Maybe you also played, maybe you do play Tucker there. You got 8,500 left, and who can we fit for 8,500? And Hassan Whiteside. Whoops, and I X'd him out as a one-off. So there you go. 50K. Fills it out. So it's not a matter of, do I think Ingram is a good GPP play? Is that, okay, if I play Ingram in a lineup, what does it look like? Do I want to play this? And you go, okay, this makes sense, right? This lineup makes sense for a large field GPP. You're getting three Houston players alongside one Charlotte player, a 3+1. You're getting two Pelicans and Giannis, and one of your Pelicans is not chalk, right? You're not playing Zion. And you get probably a low-owned Whiteside, one off, and not playing Harden. But you're playing the guys that benefit if Harden does not have a good game. The other guys on the team, they hit their shots. That's a GPP lineup. So you see, I didn't start from who's going to do well. It's going to be, if I play this guy, what is the lineup more likely or less likely to look like? So I hope that's a good explanation. That's what I mean by when I say I don't play by predicting outcomes. I build lineups based on an outcome. But my next lineup, like if let's say I hand built that lineup, my next lineup could be a Harden lineup, right? I play a Harden lineup with Rozier. I don't play Austin Rivers. And then I play Zion that lineup, and then I get different and play something. I mean, like, each lineup is independent of one another. So it's a matter of building lineups for outcomes and not just trying to predict an outcome. So I hope that's explanatory. I try to explain that every day in the premium Discord. Don't think of choosing players. Think of, if I choose this player, what does the lineup look like? Does it have the equity for first place? Does it have the leverage for first place? How do I get that type of lineup there? You say I want to play the chalk. You're like, okay, well, how do I get the line? Now you're going to have to build some contrarian stuff into it. If you're going to play a contrarian play, then it's like, well, now I can play some chalk stuff. But how does that all fit together with the positions and with the salaries in your line? And that's I just went through of how you would hand build that. And then once you get good enough at hand building, then you could program lineup HQ to make those types of lineups for what you want. That's premium. Looking back in the chat, Jim Cease, what is a good computer software to use when doing projections? Lineup HQ. It's part of RG Premium. It's here. It's already here. It's done for you. The projection model is already done. It'll change throughout the day, and you get all the information. It's on RotoGrinders Premium. You should be signed up to it. With Spurs Lakers, are you worried about AD and LMA negative correlates? Probably not. LaMarcus Aldridge is 6,200. The correlation of like AD fouls and that type, like at that price, if Aldridge was like 8,000, maybe I think about it a little bit more, but I really don't care. At those price, AD's 9,300 and LaMarcus Aldridge is 6,200. I mean, I don't care at that point. Steve Anthony asked, how do I punish myself the most? Wesley Matthews or PJ Tucker? Wes is 3K. Well, Tucker's going to be owned. So if you're going to be contrarian, then at least go down with the Wesley Matthews ship. But he doesn't actually project all that badly. His ceiling is suspect, but he's 3K. But he's shooting guard. Understand, like, what you're really asking is, do you pay down at shooting guard? Because PJ Tucker's power forward center eligible, and Wesley Matthews is only shooting guard eligible. So just think of the types of lineups where you're paying down at shooting guard, and those would be the lineups that Wesley Matthews fits in more than PJ Tucker. Does Zion have a minutes limit today? I don't know. Call the coach. Right, exactly. Even the people in chat are trolling you. Right, Jimmy T's like, just call the coach. I have no idea. Zion getting Giannis D who cares? I literally don't care about individual defensive matchups. I don't care at all. I don't even consider it. It's a non-consideration to me. Don't care whatsoever. Do you see them playing basketball? They switch and stuff. Like, what does it matter? Looking for low on value forward. Is Cody Martin asleep? Is he a sleeper? I guess so. I'll put you to sleep. I mean, yeah, he's projected to be 1% owned at a 3.9x median. Yeah, probably not a good play individually, but I mean, I guess you could play him. Yeah, hope for the best. You could do it. What's a good way to figure out how much leverage you need? A simple way. Okay, this is simple. It's not an exact science. Is multiply the projected ownership of the top 5 players in the lineup that you have by the amount of entries in the contest. So, for instance, if you're going to play a 41%, I mean, you can't see my screen. So you could do like 0.41. Let's say you play the top owned guys. I mean, we'll go here. Look, Harden, Tucker, Zion, Favors. I mean, you can't even play LeBron in that lineup. But let's just go the top 4. So like Harden, for instance, is 42. So I go 0.42 times 0.41 for Tucker times 0.39 for Zion times 0.39 for Favors. And then I multiply that by the size of the field. So if the size of the field is 5,000, the number is 130. You want the number to be 1. If you could get the number to be under 1, you have enough leverage. Okay? So in a 5,000 person contest, getting rid of all of potential correlation or any type of construction intricacies, you would expect that a lineup with those 4 players to be duplicated 130 times. Okay, so you're still competing with another 130 people with the same lineup, with those 4 players in it. So you don't have enough leverage. So you have to find more leverage. But let's say that was a 50,000 person contest. The number is 1,309. You have nowhere near the amount of leverage. But let's say you just add a 1% owned player. It still comes to 13. So you still don't even have enough leverage in a 50,000 person contest. But in a 5,000 person contest, it would come out to 1.3, which is just close enough. That's a simple way to do it. It's not an exact way. You take the projected ownership, you multiply them, not 42, 0.42, 0.41. Take the top 4 or 5, and the top multiply by each other, and then the size of the field the lineup is in. If that's an 800 person contest and you multiply it by 800, then the amount of leverage you need, it's going to be under 1. I mean, then you're going to get it under 1. If it's 50,000 entries, it's going to be a higher number. So, like if you're going to add up some 18% owned guys, maybe you do have enough leverage. And that's a simple way of doing it. Amazing Keto Boy, you make more sense than most DFS strategy shows. Never thought of it that way. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Amazing Keto Boy. Street Pound asks, what percentage do you consider high and low ownership? It depends on the slate. Obviously, smaller slates, the ownership will be, I mean, yeah, they have to be owned. I mean, there's only so many people you can choose from. On a 10-game slate, 42% is like a lot of ownership. But on a 4-game slate, that's I mean, it's the highest, but it's not like ridiculous. Like, it's kind of hard. Like these 2% owned guys on a 4-game slate is much like you could find a good player on a large slate at 2%. On these slates, I mean, you're talking about Marvin Williams. You're talking about Derek White. You're not talking about like good players. You can still play them. And as Dan Bach says, hit that thumbs up if you're liking this stuff, right? If you like this, if this is one of the best DFS strategy shows, you've got to hit the thumbs up button. Not enough thumbs up means the show goes away. I think should I be threatening that? Should I really be threatening that? Harden's projection is definitely going to increase. Well, we'll see. That's why you get RotoGrinders preview. I mean, I'm just looking at the initial projections. So maybe things change. And PJ Washington is still questionable. I'm getting a notification about that. How often does a chalky cash lineup end up being the highest scoring in smaller slates like this? It's in GPPs, you don't care. Who cares? If the chalky cash lineup is the high scoring, everyone splits first place like 17,000 ways. There's no EV in that. You want to get different. James Graham says, do you play cash? If so, how do you go about building? Yeah, I do play cash. You just play the best optimal lineup. That's it. That's all you have to do. I just look at projections and go, okay, what's the best medium build that comes? Okay, I'm playing that lineup. Not really much you could do, and you just track the projection model. If you trust your model, just play the optimal lineup. Let's get a couple of questions before I get out of here. Is leverage calculated impacted by whether the field is single entry or 150 man? Yes. Most of the projected ownership that we have at RotoGrinders are mainly for the larger field GPPs. But yes, ownership in single entry contests tend to get more condensed. The chalkier plays end up being even more chalky. So yes, if you want to do this simple leverage, how much you need type of calculation, you can. You don't have to do it by our projected ownership. It could be any. You think the Harden's going to be 20% more owned, then put that in. But the whole goal is to get to a point where that number is under 1. And once you're at that point, you don't need to play the chalk in the rest of the lineup. You're fine. That's the simple way of doing it. It's not an exact science to do it that way. Is this a Scars and Scrubs day? I don't know. We don't know yet. We don't even know we don't know what's going to happen. Giannis could sit today, and that changes the whole slate, right? We have no idea what's going to happen. So just keep updated, look at the projections, and see what happens. Blender, what are your thoughts on using the preliminary projections top plays after later? Well, who cares about preliminary projections after news happens? It changes. Who cares about the preliminary anything? This is just what I see right now. This could all change. Not all of it. I mean, things get adjusted. Could you see going DeRozan with a 20% smash percentage and 4% ownership to get off a chalky LaMarcus? Yeah, sure. That makes sense. But it's not a matter of do you play DeRozan. It's if you play DeRozan in a lineup, what does that lineup look like? How do you build a DeRozan lineup for a large field GPP? So playing or not playing DeRozan, to me, is not the important part. You can play him. He's DeMar DeRozan. Feel free. If he's 4% owned, go for it. Just build a good lineup around it. It makes sense. Josh Cleveland asked, how does RGB differ from Smash? Do you use the... Okay, RGB is the plus minus of their salary expectation of how many points, raw points. He's expecting, James Harden for his price is expected to get, 55 points for 12K. Like that would be his salary expectation for 12K. Well, his median is about 10 points higher than that. So that's what RGB is. Smash is just where that 5x plus 10, where that 7x type of score goes on the distribution curve of their projection. So Anthony Davis's median is 54. His ceiling, which is an 80th percentile projection, is 74. So at 9,300, he needs to give you 60 points or so to hit Smash. And that's a 40% chance. So that's how that's calculated. I like answering the questions. That's what the whole point of the YouTube chat is. So I'm trying to answer as many as I can before we're running a little bit late, but who cares? Well, there's no one coming on after us. As long as you keep on thumbs upping, okay? You keep on thumbs up, or this seems like I'm detonating a bomb, but hit the thumbs up button. Does leverage calculation work the same way in FanDuel? And yeah, it works the same exact way. You're basically trying to say how many lineups have these players in it, right? If 50% of lineups have X and 50% of lineups have Y, the likelihood that 25% of lineups have both, right? Then you add another one, and then you add another one. So that's why I said it's not an exact calculation, because it's quite possible 50% of lineups have one, 50% of lineups have the other, and there's no overlap. I mean, it's not a finite thing where you could say that there has to be a 25% overlap. There doesn't have to be. That's why I said it's a simple way of doing it, not an exact way of doing it. Okie doke. I think I got through all the questions. I think I got through all the QQs here on YouTube, right? We're on YouTube. You hit the thumbs up. You subscribe to the channel. We do this every day at 11 a.m. Eastern. Of course, we have Grinders Live tonight, as usual. Crunch time for premium members. But I mean, we've only been doing this show for since last month, right? 11 a.m. pregame show, which is more focused on GPP strategy, focusing on studying what top players do the first half of the show for the previous slate, so we can learn how to get better at DFS, and then talking more about strategy of the current slate rather than like what picks to make, because a lot of times by 5:30 all of this changes anyway. Learning to build better lineups, learning to build lineups with first place win equity for large field GPPs, and less so on who's going to do well, because I have no clue who's going to do well. I just look at the projections and go, well, he could do well. And if he does well, I guess this guy may do well. And then I'll build a lineup like that and hopefully take down 100,000 or 10,000 or whatever. I'll be like Travis. Now that I'm back in the groove, no days off, right? I don't even think Travis is even in the chat anymore. No days off at DFS, and no days off for us here at RotoGrinders. For the DFS pregame show, RotoGrinders.com.